Hi, my name's Alex. I'm doing a 30-day challenge where I'm learning to speak better English, build my camera confidence as well as my mind-mouth connection. And today's topic is something I loved about games that also applies to life. Well, there are many aspects of a video game that I love. There are the creativity, the imagination, the storytelling, the social aspect, and sometimes the music, the soundtrack, as well as the challenge of a game. But if I have to pick one or two things, it would be first the exploration aspect of a game. It doesn't happen in every game, but what I'm talking about is the open world games. So games like Grand Theft Auto, The Witcher 3, or The Elder Scrolls Skyrim's. They are some of my most favorite games of all time. I love these games because of the exploration aspect of the game, where you enter the game, it is an immersive open world, and you are just thrown into a world to explore on your own. You never know what happens after an action or what happens to the story. You have to keep progressing, and a lot of time, how open world game is set up, right? So you have a main story which the protagonists have to follow, but it is sort of the nature of the open world games. Like there are so many paths that leads to different directions, and as players, we often get derailed or distracted by different side quests. And a lot of times, it is become like a common theme for open world games where you are always doing your main quest last, but you're always doing your side quest first, exploring the world, see what's going on, see the sceneries. And I think that's one aspect about open world games that I love so much. That exploration, you have no idea what's around the corner. And there are so many options to choose from. You want to complete a fetch quest to, help a random farmer get retrieve a frying pan, or side quest where you are going into a vampire den to clear out the vampires, and everything surrounds you, every and your entire surroundings kind of distracts you from your main objectives. Like you are trying to work through a goal, and suddenly a side project, just come out of nowhere, and you got distracted and started chasing that side projects. That's a lot like life, And sometimes their side projects leads to some interesting finding and eventually leads back to the main quest. Sometimes their side projects becomes a main quest, and sometimes their side projects is just a side project that leads nowhere. And that is one aspect of the video games that I love and also applies to life. And the other one would be the fundamentals of how a game is designed. It is especially true for single player games. So imagine like any game like Witcher 3. So you started on an island, you go into the game, and you are greeted with sometimes an UI to tell you how to move your mouse or keyboard, or to how to move the controllers, what button causes what reaction. And that island, right, it is called the tutorial islands. So it is basically a miniature of what the entire game is going to be about. The core game loop, the core mechanics, the core economics are all introduced in that section of the map. And I think that approach, it is a lot like life, especially when we are learning something. So, for example, me doing this YouTube channel, speaking from camera, and learning to speak better English. In a way, that's like my starting area, my starting minutes of the game, where I'm learning the basic controls of how to set up YouTube Studio, how to set up a mic, how to speak into a mic, how to talk to the camera, how to record a video with good lighting, which I think today's lighting is quite alright. And after I learned all the basics, we start to move around and start exploring the tutorial islands, which are basic, simple objectives that aims to build your knowledge about the game. So, so in RPGs, right, you still have like you are still so in an RPG, right, you will start to face monsters on a tutorial island where this you start to learn how to fight a monster, how to press the inputs, how to press the controllers, how to dodge, how to shoot a gun. And that is just life, you know. After this basic intro to the control, and then the next step to this to developing a new skill, it is like tutorial islands where you are starting to explore a bit in different direction about the skills. So for me, you know, after the 30-day challenge, it would be to start exploring how to make a better film, for example, like how to set up a better camera. Like I'm right now using the front camera of my iPad, which I see what I see is quite alright, but every time I upload it onto YouTube, I realize that the quality is not really there, you know. So eventually, after I get past this a control tutorial stage after 30 days, I want to be able to go into tutorial islands to start exploring what content creation is all about. And at this point, right, you're still stuck in the first section of the game where you are still learning the basics. But as you progress, you get better and better at a skill. So how the video game tutorial island tend to design is they give you an easy monster like a sheep to kill, and that teaches you how to press the controllers, how to press the buttons on your controllers, and then after that they'll give you a reward. So for me, I'm still thinking about what my rewards are after I complete the challenge, but maybe I'll finally get my Pixel 10 Pro. But anyway, after killing a sheep, they get a reward, loot box, and then they give you a harder challenge to challenge the skills that you just learned, and that can be like like a lion, for instance. So you kill the lion, a harder enemy, and then you get a better reward, and rinse and repeat until you are pretty comfortable with all the basics of tutorial islands, and you are ready to leave the tutorial island and start exploring the world. So for me, that would be like, after I learned all the basics of using video editing software, right? I'm still debating on whether to use CapCut or DaVinci Resolve. CapCut may be better for me who doesn't have a lot of time to dive into all the pro editing skills, but still deciding. Anyway, yeah. So video editing, video recording, and also writing script. Right now I'm just like having GPT generate a random topic for me to talk, and then I'm trying to talk about a topic, but I don't think the storytelling is there. There's a lot that is stuck in my head that I'm trying to get out, and talk and think at the same time is pretty damn difficult. So, storytelling, script writing, there'll be something that I have to learn in order to leave the tutorial island of content creation. Back to the topic, like that's why I love about video games, because it is structured in a way that it teaches you the fundamentals of how a game works, the systems, the economics, and then let you just explore for open world games, of course. And yeah, that's it for today's video. And if you watch it until this point, maybe drop a like and subscribe. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.